stuff I'm showing you today is because so much stuff is online, we've got to stay in relationship with our clients. We have to be able to generate those leads and figure out a way to stay in touch with them forever. And it's without having these systems and processes that I'm going to share with you today. Now, how did I even get up here? I started in the business in 2005. I was a broker. I was brought on by a top producer. His name was JB. We ran together for about 3 years. He was doing 16 to 18 loans a month when I came on. Within that 3-year period, we went up to averaging 40. The top month was 56. Just him and I, an assistant processor and a processor. It was pretty ridiculous. Then obviously, as you know, the market was turning. We started interviewing with banks. I ended up landing at my current company, Nova. But it's 11 years last month that JB passed away. So I lost my mentor. It was a horrible ATV accident. Got a call in the middle of the night from his mom telling me what happened, and literally had to shut down the brokerage, close out all the loans, and then I moved all by myself with no mentor, lost my best friend, brand new company, and had nothing. The next month, I went to a seminar, kind of like this. It was a leadership seminar. Went to it, and there was just people talking about, stuff to do. I didn't really get much of it. I don't even remember any of the speakers. But when I was leaving, I go out, and there's this little blue CD that says The Core. I'm like, oh, sweet, it's a workout CD. Because my degree was physical fitness, exercise science. I tried to be a doctor, but now I make more money than I would have, so I'm happy that I chose this career. So I literally took the CD, I threw it in there, I'm listening to it on the way home. It's a 45-minute drive, listening to the whole thing. It's Rick Ruby, the owner of The Core. How many of you heard of The Core training? Cool. So it's Rick sitting there blasting, like, have a clean desk, clean out your car, yell at your people, call realtors, call listing agents, and I'm like, huh. And so I literally pulled into the parking lot of my new office, Nova. It's a Saturday. I open the door, I go in, and I literally sign up. And this is how long ago. It was thecoretraining.tv. So I sign up, it's $89, and I start doing the stuff, and I went from 90 grand to 170 to 220 to 350 to 500 to 7-something, 8, over $1 million, over the journey since 2008. And it was the systems I'm going to teach you today. It's the processes and being very process-driven. Most salespeople, how many are just like kind of all over the place, kind of living in chaos? We're just like, it's squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Oh, we got a 10-minute break. Let me look at my emails and text messages and checking Instagram. It's having that structure and being very diligent. So that's the stuff I'm going to share with you today. I was lost would be a great word. And having just the recipe book and the playbook to follow is what got me to where I am today. So I'm just going to share all that stuff with you right now. So the next slide is to where you can pull out your phones now. This will be the first time and probably the only time I'll tell you to do it. If you text Play 10X to this phone number, you're going to get the handouts, you're going to get the presentation, you're going to have everything, so that way you can limit your notes. What I find is if you take too much notes, you don't catch everything. If you don't take any notes at all, you won't remember anything. But if you just put down little highlights, little buzzwords that I might say, little phrases that you might say, man, that's really good, but I'll send you all the slides. Tracking and measuring. There's a quote I really like. What you measure matters. What matters, you measure. So if your weight matters, you step on the scale, and then you can make adjustments. If your business matters, you're going to measure your activity to bring in the leads to get up with the closings. Now, there's a great book out there, 4 Disciplines of Execution. Great book to listen to. Right now is a good time because it's really about business planning. And they talk about having a lead measure versus a lag measure. The lag measure is what last month we did 28 deals. It's done. I've got 33 closing this month. That's a lag measurement. Not much I can do with that number. But I can impact that number by watching my lead measurements, which is my call volume, my appointment volume, which is how many face-to-faces am I having, how many phone calls am I making. It's a contact sport. The more contacts we have, the more contracts we'll get, the more closings we're going to have. So having a lead versus lag measure. So measuring those things. Having processes and checklists. Delegating non-dollar productive stuff. You all know this stuff. Yeah, like no one's ever like, oh, wow, I've never heard that before. Yeah, you have. But it's using that. I can literally write out a list of things that I have to do on a file or when I get someone's business card, and then I can delegate the things that I don't have to do for somebody else. Or maybe it's virtually. Maybe it's you might have an admin person. You're like, yeah, Talia, my assistant, will set us an appointment to get together. That avoids email back and forth, text message back and forth, increases that the appointments are going to show up, the show rate, right? But you could also leverage technology. Like Mark uses Acuity. There's programs like Calendly. I can say, hey, I'm going to send you a link, and you can just book an appointment in my calendar. I can do that. It's just a way of leveraging that non-dollar productive stuff, because I need to be in front of people. I need to be face-to-face. You need to have that structure and have systems around your whole processes. You're going to create a checklist for everything. Let's say you're at this event and you meet somebody and you get their business card. Do you have a checklist and a process for what you're going to do with that card? That it goes into your CRM, that there's a handwritten note, that you're going to send them a text, that you're going to send them a text video, that it's coded in your CRM somehow as that referral source. And that this just becomes a rhythm, right? That it's basically how you're flowing normally. Like every time I get a card, that is what happens. I put it on my assistant's desk. A couple hours later, there's a blank handwritten note. There's an addressed envelope, and I know exactly what to do. And then the next day, the video goes out. Hey, great meeting you yesterday. It was so nice having lunch with you, whatever. And then there's a task of some sort to follow up for the next one. It's a very simple system that I already have in place. I'll show you here on the next one. So business cards, meeting a client, what happens after a close? How many of you have exactly what happens after you close on a transaction? Like exactly what happens. Like you close on the deal and then what? Right? That's how realtors are too. This is the same presentation I teach for realtors. Like, do they have a process for after the closing to stay in relationship? And that's what I'm going to show you. Do you flip to the next one? So this shows you exactly what I was just talking about. Like after you meet with a client, when they leave your office, do you call them up and say, hey, are you like me? And you go to the doctor's office and you leave and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask him that thing. It happens, right? So then when I call him, I say, hey, yeah. Do you have a question for me? No. Well, hey, I just want you to feel comfortable to call me anytime. We're here. Good communication will make this process and experience great. I work off repeat and referral business, and that'll only happen if you're having a great experience. Is there anything else I can be doing for you? No. Cool. Save my number in your phone. Okay. Bye. Click. That happens after someone leaves my office every time. We call it the drive-away call. But that's a process or a system. All right, let me get into this. Who are you marketing to and where are we getting our deals from? Who are we marketing to? So you've got your past clients. How many of you actively market to your past clients? Like getting deals off your past clients. It's like 10%, right? There's a lot of money in there. And I guarantee you're not hitting them as hard as you can. Like literally it has to be top of mind. I want it to be, they're going to go online. They're going to see the billboard. They're going to get hit with some ad. Alexa's going to hear them talking at the table and say, yeah, I think we want to buy a new house. And Alexa just hears it and goes, boom, and sells it to everybody. And then all of a sudden they're seeing ads. They get in the car, the radio stations, the satellite radio is now playing, hey, do you want to buy a new house? Go to this website. I just want them to say, call Greg Gale. Well, I want them to then say, hey, Greg, I was just looking online. I walked into the bank. I saw this. I need to run this by you. That's what I want. I want the guy that called me 2 months ago that said, hey, man, I'm selling my house. And I went to do you guys have iBuyers here? Like they can just go online and get an instant offer for their house? Cool. So it's huge. It started in Phoenix, right? They got Zillowed. And so we have Open Door, Offer Pads. There's 7 of them in my neighborhood, well, in my area. So the guy calls me, and this was a builder deal that we did the deal on. There was no realtor. So I'm looking at his file, and there's no agent. And I said, hey, so I understand you're going with the offer thing. Man, is it okay if I refer you to my agent that's really good in that area? He's like, yeah, sure. I just want to make sure you're getting a good deal, man. So he gets it to me. We ended up the guy already closed, and he's buying another one with us, and he made an extra $34,000 by using my realtor. Right? Now, I'll tell you this. I did a realtor's loan, and I said, dude, you took an offer from OfferPad? He goes, yeah, bro. He goes, I could have never got that from my house. That was a realtor. So it's not all bad, but the fact remains that the gentleman called me, and I didn't tell you this, I had closed him 4 years ago. So the guy called me about the real estate. I'm not even the realtor. And I'm referring him back to my realtor because of my follow-up and the systems that we have in place. Your current clients, how many of you call your current clients during the transaction? Like outbound call, communicate to them. Most of us are calling them, right? How many of you ask every single time for a referral? Hey, how we do? Hey, before I let you go, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I doing? How do I get just a little bit better? Cool. Can you do me a favor? I could really use your help. Today at the office, can you find me one person that wants to buy a house or maybe even refinance? Rates are ridiculous right now. Yeah, sure, I'll help you out. Cool, thanks, I appreciate it. Is there anything else I can do for you? Are you sure? Always ask one more time. This happens. This is just our culture, right? You offer someone water, and what do they say? No. Are you sure? I am a little thirsty. It just the second time you ask, they will. Yeah, I do the same thing. Do you want a water? No, I'm good. I just don't want to put you out, right? No, I'm good. Are you sure, man? You're a little like it's like white around your lips. Oh yeah, I am a little thirsty. Thanks, right? You ask a second. Are you sure? Can I do anything else for you? No. Are you sure? Well, oh, cool. What is it? Great, because if I help you again, I can ask again for a referral. So current clients, right? Business partners. How many of you work with business partners like financial planners, divorce attorneys? It's a game changer, right? So there's a realtor in my market. He's actually in Tucson, so that's a lower price point than me. I think their average purchase price is around $200. He netted, so realtor, net, not what's my GCI, like net after expenses to his business partners only, just tracking all business partners. Net, $1 million in 2018. That's like ridiculous, right? But that's him just hyper-focused on that one thing. His business partners, financial planners, CPAs, divorce attorneys, all the subs that we use, right? Like I send a ton of deals to my pool guy. Like my pool guy and my insurance guy make so much money off of me. They better be referring me, right? But how many of us call and say, hey, Javier, how's it going? How many pools you managing right now? I don't know, like 120. How many were referred from me? 80. Wow. I don't want any kickbacks, but man, of the 120, can we market together? Yeah, what do you want? Dude, he does mailers. He does door hangers. He now does, if an appraisal comes in and has a pool, they get a pool float that says Gale team and complete pool care on it, right? That I co-market with him because I'm doing things like this. And then your sphere of influence, right? Anyone, like all your Facebook friends, all your Instagram followers, like anybody in your phone should be downloaded and marketed to. Okay, now let me share the structure of all of this, right? It's an easy structure we have with the core. It's called mail, call, visit, email. Mail, call, visit, email. That you mail your database once a month. Now look, if I'm just starting out, there's a couple guys in here that are just brand new. If I'm just starting out, I don't have a huge budget. Maybe it's once a quarter. But you want to get in the rhythm of mailing your database, your past clients, those attorneys. Like my attorneys get a newsletter every month, but I mail them every month. I'll describe some of the mailers. We call them. You got to pick up the phone. I'll share a scary statistic, which is kind of a fun statistic. So in 2017, I closed 16 deals from my past clients. It's pretty horrible. The one thing out of this system that I wasn't doing was I wasn't consistently doing the calls. I just kept like, I can't get to it. Oh, it's Thursday, it's coaching day. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to get to them. And I didn't. And so then I said, finally, I went with the team. It's like the third time I'm going at them. I'm like, guys, we got to get this. You got to help me. You got to hold me accountable. And so we did. So within 9 months, we went to 84 closings just because I picked up the phone. Nothing else changed. Rates didn't get better. Rates went up. So that was when the rates were going up, right, in 2018. So rates were going up in an interest rate rising environment, me making more phone calls, and I closed from 18 to 84, 16 to 84. That's just crazy. All just using something that was free, my phone. The last one is visit. You can't visit your entire database. So what we do is leveraged events. We'll do movies. We'll do parties. We'll do pumpkin pie giveaways. Movies is my favorite. You just rent out a theater, invite people to it, and show up. It's pretty simple. So let me share one thing real quick. It's called the top 50 list. This is where my agent made $1 million. In LOs, you can do the same thing. You want to have a list of 50 people. You have a list of 50 people that you call 12 every Friday. So every Friday, I'm just calling 12. Can everyone make 12 phone calls on a Friday? Tomorrow's Friday. Can you make 12 phone calls? I can leave 12 voicemails. I can talk to 2 and leave 10, right? But I'm calling 12. Now, right now, your assignment would be to block out an hour tomorrow to start to create your list. Boom. See? Make your list. Steve is good. Steve is good. So you have your top 50 list. Now think, if the goal here is that the 50, I can be in such good relationship and they have the capacity to refer me 2 closings a year, that's 100 closings. If your average per deal is, just call it $3,000, you're at $300,000 just from this one slide alone. Just this one slide alone, right? So if they have the capacity to refer you to, and you stay in good relationship with them, they will refer you. And when they refer you, my referrals are strong when they come from my criminal justice attorney. Hey, dude, this girl you'll be surprised. I told Heath last night at dinner, I was like, dude, this thing's killer. They call and they're like, yeah, I got to get my husband out of jail. Okay, I don't even want to know what he did, but how much equity you got in the house? Cool. I'm just telling you, the criminal justice guys love it because what their frustration was is they would get the client would say, yeah, and they'd say, good, our retainer is $25,000. And they say, well, I don't have it. They say, how much equity you got? Let me look at your house. And they would say, looks like you got the equity. You need to go to your bank and get a loan. And then what happened? They went to their bank. And how long did it take XYZ bank, Wells Fargo, B of A, I don't know, whoever, to deny them? 45 days, right? How long does it take me to deny them? A couple hours, right? As fast as they give me the docs. So I was giving them quick answers. No, dude, not a deal. Yeah, that's a deal. Hey, I just got to fix their credit. It's going to be 2 weeks. I just give them the real answer. They loved it, and they still love it. And we're closing like 2 or 3 a month just from that. But I go give talks with them. I call them. They're on my VIP list. Can that be your divorce attorney? How many of you use a CPA every year to do your taxes? Cool. Do you get deals from the CPA? Do you ask them? Like, you're paying them for their services. Why are they not reciprocating back? We don't ask. But they'll ask if I call them every month. Hey, man, how's it going? How many people you helped this month? Cool. I didn't get any phone calls. It's a simple question. My financial planner. Hey, man, stocks are down, but you could still refer me some people. How about we do some of the, you saw Mark's deal. What if I debt consolidate some? You've all done it. You've all saved people $200, $300, $500 a month in a mortgage payment and then said, wow, you really should invest that. How about you refer it to the planner? But then you call the planner and say, how many other people do you know, man, that I could then get you more money? It's a win for them, and it's a win for the client, and it's a win for us. Win, win, win. But it's having this list. All right, let me get back on track. So on the mailing, we're going to mail preferably once a month. If financially you got to go out a little bit, you go out a little bit. In every household, there's typically two people with 2 different sides of the brain. You've got your right brain and left brain. So the right brain people, a little more creative, the left brain, a little more analytical. And so we write 2 different letters. You have the evidence of success, which is basically testimonials, or it's the agent that says, yeah, this house was sitting on the market for a while. I swooped in. I got it. I marketed it right. I sold it in 2 weeks, over market. So that's the realtor doing some sort of evidence of success. For us, we write one, and it could be save someone a couple $100. It could be, man, I fixed up the single mom's credit. It took us about a year. Finally, we got the household of our dream. And that goes on your evidence of success postcard. So I have a postcard that goes out every single month, testimonial. I'll show you one of the samples. The other one is the letter of the heart. Nothing about mortgages, nothing about the business. It's all personal. It's all about relationships and connectivity with your people. So I'll write one, like the next slide you're going to see is I wrote one with the kids. They're on 4th of July. We went up to a cabin we rented for the weekend. They had a blast. I just wrote about the summer with the kid, how fast the time goes, all that kind of stuff. Earlier this year, I wrote one. We had a puppy. He passed away within like 3 days. It was like he was born with a congenital disease. It was going to happen. It didn't matter who got him. I just said that he had the best 3 days of his life with me and my family, that got love poured into him, even though he passed away. Those are the things that get me connected to the people, right? It's a connection as a person, not online. That's where we got to go. How do I get online to offline? Or how do I stay in a relationship that I'm already in with people? They're in a house because of you. They're going to decorate for Halloween in the house that you got them. They're going to spend Thanksgiving and give thanks for the roof over their head because of the house you got them. Yet we don't call and say, hey, do you like your house? How's it going? What have you been doing to the house? Cool. Do you want to thank me again for the house? Right? I don't say that part, but I do say, how's the house? And actually what I'm really getting at is there anything you need from me? Do you need my pool guy? Do you need my landscaper? Do you need the housekeeper? Do you need the arborist, which is like a tree guy? I never knew that until I started talking to the landscaper guy. Had an arborist come to my meeting, and I'm like, dude, I'll get you business. There's still trees in Arizona. There's still cactus. They can come out in there and fix the tree. There's always somebody. The handyman. How many people have like the honey-do list around the house that they could just call the guy and say, do it? Just go make a punch list, right? How many people wait to do the punch list before they're going to sell the house? Rather than, why don't you do the punch list while you're living at the house so you can enjoy it? Rather than, there's just that little ding in the wall. There's that little scratch over there. We'll just do it when we move out. Why? Why wouldn't you want to enjoy your house? Right? So I had that conversation with a realtor. He's like, ooh, that's a good one. I said, how much business could you give your handyman? And how much more reach would you have with your clients if you just had that one little tactic, right? The next one you're going to see is my evidence of success. So the evidence of success is very simple. Notice how it says, we'd love for you to refer us one person this year. It's very simple, right? Just subtle. Not, I'm too busy for a referral. Can you get me one? It's so attainable. Like people know they could attain that goal. One person. Greg only wants one. And then just a nice little testimonial. I'll send this one back to you too with that text message. I'll send you the samples of them. They're all the proofs. We keep them in the core library. And then stuff that we do, but it's in this postcard, you can't tell, but it is it's take an 8.5 by 11 paper and fold it in half so it's the long way. It's not a normal postcard. So it definitely sticks out in the mailbox. So I pay a couple extra bucks so it just stands out. It just goes out every single month like clockwork. The letter of the heart is more of a hard one for me because it's all touchy-feely. So I gotta be like, what are we gonna write about? And I literally just have to have the kids do something so I can like write about it. Like I just want my kid to like my one kid's getting into gaming and I'm like, it's so annoying. How do I block the online time? How do I just snip the Wi-Fi so I can still use my computer but not use the Xbox? And like, it's just, there's all these gadgets though, so I write about it. I'm like, hey, there's the Disney Circle and you can block time, but I know that's a struggle with a lot of parents. So I can connect with them by sharing my struggles, right? That's the point of Letter of the Heart. Okay, let's talk about the calls. This is very powerful. It's one that you could teach to any of your business people. This is one I teach to my realtors, but this is one that you first have to do yourself. You sort your database by last name. It's called the Letter of the Week. How many of you heard the Letter of the Week program? Cool, keep your hands up. How many of the people that heard about it do it? 2, sweet. I'll tell you, it was really hard. Like it literally took me, I had 3 false starts. So it was like I'd start on a semester and then I'd wait 6 months, but let's do it again. And so it took me a year and a half to finally do it. But to finally do it and then go, wow, in a rising interest rate market, you went up to 84. What would it have been when the rates were low? Like what would it look like right now if you all just started calling your whole database? Like, would I get more deals? You'd get more deals. And you can start now, even though you could put it in your business plan and say, look, the 1st of January, you call everyone with the last name that starts with A. So you sort your CRM or you export them into Excel. You sort by last name and you call the Applewoods, the Applebees, whoever. Call them all. Hey, how's it going? How you been? What's going on? What'd you do this summer? And I'm just touching base with them, right? And then the next week, call the B's, the C's. There's 26 letters. There's 52 weeks. You're all good at math. That means I'm going to hit them twice a year. If I call them on their birthday and their loan anniversary, that's 4 touches mandatory a year or minimum. that I can tell my agents that I'm staying in relationship with our clients, that I will then refer back to them. And that's why you choose to use me. That's why you use me as your lender, because I will follow up better than you, because they're not going to do it. But when you tell them that you mail your database, you call your database, that you're doing client parties, that you're emailing them consistently, like, wow. And that you do track those closings so you know that it's theirs and that you're turning it right back around to them. So we kept a statistic this year, and I've referred out $6.3 million in closed real estate to realtors. That's some consumer direct, where like someone just called me, referred me from the gym, didn't have a realtor that I sent out. Past clients of loan officers that left my company that don't have a realtor relationship anymore that I pitch out. Some of them were like, they call me and I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember that agent anymore. And I look up, and then that person actually left the business and moved to Indianapolis. I literally tried to track him down because I said, dude, this is your lead. He's like, nah, I'm out of the business. I'm like, you still licensed? Can you get a referral fee? I'll give it to somebody. No, I just refer it out. Okay, referred it out. 6.3 million closed. That's a pretty crazy statistic when I share that with agents. But that is because of my follow-up. The follow-up's crazy, but it's not, it's doable. Like, none of the stuff I'm saying is like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even do that. All of it's doable. It's literally creating the time. Let me share with you real quick the structure for a week of the core in regards to your phone calls, because phone calls to me is just the most important, but it's the most leveraged. These are what we call theme days. So every Monday you have a list of 40 realtors. Now, if you don't have a list of 40, make a list of 20. Now, I can pull a list. I'm sure you can pull lists here. You can have a friend that's a realtor that says, pull the list for me. You can look up and Google it, but you can find 40 realtors. And we call them. Now, you might say, dude, that's excessive to call the same 40 every single week. Make a list of 80 and call 40, and then 40 the next week, and then rotate and call them every 2 weeks. But they're just called, hey, what'd you do this weekend? How you been? What's going on? How's business? How are the kids? I just need to stay in relationship. I want to stay top of mind. Tuesday, I'll show you another statistic. This is actually a coach with the core. She shared this. So on Tuesdays, we call the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and the buyer to give them an update. We promise great communication. We deliver by calling them every Tuesday. Now, you're going to get little things that come out of your CRM or your Encompass or whatever. You're going to have those updates that come out. You're going to call them randomly about different stuff. But for sure, every Tuesday, you're making the call, leaving a message, talking to them. This gal, she had 22 channel accounts. A channel account is defined by a realtor that you've closed 12 deals in the last year with. So 12 or more, so one a month, right? She had 20 of the 22 realtors on her channel account were from Tuesday updates. Her W-2 for just that 20 was over $1 million. One day. So for me, that's $1 million day, right? Like literally walk in the office on a Tuesday and go, wow, I just got to knock that one thing out today. I just need to call my buyer's agents, my listing agents, and my buyers on that day. And then do it the next day and the next day and the next day. Now, she was averaging about 20 deals, so that's a good amount of contacts, right? If I've only got 5 deals going, I have a fourth as many contacts. The point being is you can get a lot of realtors that way. They're warm calls because they have to take my call. They're on the other side of the deal, right? So way better than just the straight cold call. Wednesdays, your TBDs. So with the scripts that Steve's talking about, that he increased his close from pre-qual to close to north of 90% is just a ridiculous stat. I'm at like 78%. I just started tracking that last year. And remember, we measure what matters. That always mattered to me, but obviously not enough that I never measured it. I always measured my lead to app and then my lead to close. I never did the pre-qual to close, to ever track that. So now I have a system in place to track that, and we moved it from 65 up. That's a number that we need to do better at. You've already gone through to procure the agent, to then send you the leads, to then convert them, to then sit down with them, to give them the pre-qual, to scrub all their docs, and then they go out and then they shop you, or they go away, or they get with another realtor. Because we weren't in relationship. We didn't send them the letter of the heart. We didn't call them on Wednesday just to check in on them. We didn't send them a little text message. We didn't give them a little Starbucks card and say, have a little treat on me. We're out looking for a house. Like, what does the follow-up look like to your Wednesday, your TBD list? That's like the next closest to the money for me, right? Everyone that's in the pipe and is going to close, the majority are closing, right? They're done. If I did a great pre-qual, they're not falling out for any other reason than I don't even know, right? Is the end, they're like, I just don't want to sign them out, right? I mean, we got cold feet them out. I'm going to lose my earnest money. Okay. But the majority are closing. So it's the TBDs I got to stay, which is your pre-quals, right? They're out shopping. I got to stay engaged with them. Thursday's past client day. So that's where I'm picking, having a top 50 client list that I'm really engaged with, that I know that can refer me. Maybe that's the guy that's at a company, medical sales rep. Maybe they're in HR. I just know I can get more deals from those past clients. And then Friday is your VIP calls that we talked about earlier. Now, you've all heard of the system FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dream. That's just a format to a call. When you're making those calls or you're in an event like this and I can say, hey, how's your family? Where are you originally from? Do you have any brothers and sisters? Cool. How's your job? Are you still at the same place? Like, you can call someone from 5 years ago. Hey, man, it's Greg. No, we closed your house 5 years ago. Just going through my files. How you been? How's the fam? Oh, my gosh. Man, when I took your app, you had a 3-year-old. So that means they're 8. What are they into? Oh, that's cool. And you're taking notes. You're putting it in your little CRM for the next call 6 months later, right? Hey, what have you been doing for fun? How are you recreating? What have you been doing for fun lately? Oh, that's cool. Hey, if there was one thing on your bucket list, one place you could travel to, where would it be? There's your dreams, right? What do you got going on between now and the end of the year? What are you doing over the holidays? Dreams, right? It's an easy tactic. I'll show you some of my samples for some of the client parties. So events, like I said, the easy ones. So at Thanksgiving, I have an email that will go out, and we do mail, call, text. Reserve your apple or pumpkin pie before the Friday before Thanksgiving. Come to my office the Tuesday before Thanksgiving to get it for free. So we just give away pies. We'll give away 50 to 100 pies. They're all sitting in my office. Anyone extra is like, oh, I couldn't swing by. I'm like, no worries. We'll get extra pies, and we'll bring them down to the food bank. We'll take them out to all the businesses that are right around my complex. I always end up with 9 or 10 extra pies. It's okay. And obviously, I over-order, so my whole office and branch and team get pies too. But that's an easy one. We've also done movies. Like we did the Star Wars movie. That thing sold out within an hour. Within an hour. Literally sent out the email, boom. I'm getting calls 2 hours later. Hey, your link's not working. No, the link's working. It just says out of tickets. So we use Eventbrite. We just load it up. Here's how many seats are in the theater. We blast it out. There's a link. It's done. We most recently did Lion King, a couple months ago. That one took a few more hours, but it was still the same day. It was gone. I got Frozen coming up, if anyone wants to do Frozen. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving, 250-person theater. We get the little popcorn, gummy bear, water, cards. It's like $1,200-$1,300. But I'll invite, the power's in the invite, right? So I'll invite everyone in the database, and we'll probably get, that one's 200, so that means you're probably getting like 100, maybe 80, because you got, I'll bring the spouse, I'll bring one kid, too. We always max it out at 4. So if they email, if they're like, yeah, well, I got 5 kids. No, that's okay, we'll bring the 5. But if I put 5, they're like inviting their neighbors, their kids' friends, and I'm like, these are just the things I've learned when doing the events, right? So just be careful. All right, let's talk a little bit about the database. How many of you do not have a CRM of some sort? Sweet. 100% participation. If you didn't, I'd just say use Excel. The best CRM is the one you use, is what they say. You have to have your data somewhere. I can't pick up a conversation with someone and say, hey, yeah, we talked about 6 months ago. How are the kids? What are they into? You asked me last time. If I can pick up, I'm like, hey, last time we talked, you guys were heading off on a Disney cruise. How was the cruise? Hey, your kid was into soccer. Are they still doing soccer? Are they picking another sport? Hey, you were having that problem with your kid gaming all the time. You still having that problem? Now you're talking about being in relationship with people. But I'll tell you right now, your brain is for processing, not for storage. There is no way you're going to remember all that stuff. You could have your AAA realtor and stuff's just gonna slip through the cracks. You gotta have notes. You gotta have this stuff stacked away somewhere. So you guys all have CRM, so just put it in the CRM. Have it up. Look at it. Pick up the phone. I'm on the phone looking at it. Now only look at that. It can't be look at my email, check my phone real quick, and then pick up the phone. Oh, hey Heath, how you been? Yeah, And then I'm like kind of scrambling, right? It's like, dude, how's that treehouse, man? There's a couple people get that joke because Heath has a pimp treehouse in his backyard. It's like that thing should be on TV. It probably has. Okay, campaign. So how are we emailing stuff? Now I'll tell you, I usually just have the CRM just dump out stuff like newsletters and things like that. But there's actually, how many of you have heard of HomeBot or use HomeBot? Anybody use HomeBot? No HomeBot? Research that one. So I'm really into the technology. I started with them about a year ago, and it's like a financial statement for the house. So it's not just like, hey, here's your home value. It literally shows equity. It shows how much principal and interest they've paid down. It's black with pink and yellow. I mean, it's pretty dialed in. My open rate is over 70%. Now, just so you have something to reference, average open rate of an email of someone you know across the country from Salesforce is 23% and declining. With spam filters and people just don't, like, they see it and they're like, delete, swipe, gone, right? There's a system called Unroll that'll literally just unscribe people's stuff really quick. It's a good one for you to use. I don't want my clients to use it because I don't want to unsubscribe from my stuff. But to have over 70% open rate's pretty crazy. And that's 70% as of last month. So that's something where people are open to my financial statements that go out monthly from a year ago, August. So I could see the first couple of months where you're like, I like that new thing Greg's sending out. And then the shininess just goes away, right? That's 70% that I measured in September. My lowest open rate with a realtor, so I have my realtors signed up for it. It goes out to their database. It's co-branded, mostly branded with their stuff, but mine's on there. If they click anything financial, it comes to me like, hey, if you want to Airbnb a property in your neighborhood, you could cash flow this much money, click there. And then I get the email. Realtor gets the email. I want to reduce my PMI, get rid of my PMI. I want to pull cash out of my house. It says, we had a guy, it was actually for Texas. He said, I want to pull cash out of my house in Arizona, 30 grand, and you could buy a rental property and cash flow this much money. He called me and said, is that true? I'm like, I don't know. It should be. I hope so. So we pulled it up. We opened it. I'm like, yeah, I can. He's like, well, I said, cool. I want to do that. I'm cool. Where are we buying the house? He's like, oh, Texas. I'm like, I can't help you. But I did the cash out on the Arizona property, and then we referred it out to a Texas guy. That's in HomeBot. My lowest open rate with a realtor is 44%. My highest open rate with a realtor is 92%. It's just dumb, right? Now, again, even if I was at 23% or 17%, I'm mailing them. I'm calling them. I'm having the parties, and I'm emailing them. You got to be doing them all. The thing with the database is it's so automatic nowadays. I was just talking with James about video, making sure you're sending video. It's just more personable. People connect with you. Sending the video when the lead comes in. Hey, just wanted you to put a face to the name. Just left you a voicemail. I sent you an email. Sometimes we go to spam. Let me know if you didn't get it. Here's my phone number. Feel free to text me. Bye. It's more personal. Not everyone does it, so it makes you stand out. Now, I can just text from my phone, right? Text and message it. I use a system called Co-Video. It compresses the video and delivers it, and I know that they opened it. I like stuff like that. It's also where I can dump little groups in there, so I could dump and merge it with my CRM and send a mass email to my realtors. Hey, quick update about VA and what's happening with the VA changes. Hey, if you in an area, like, do you guys do condos out here? So do your realtors all know about the FHA changes with condo approvals? I'm shooting that video out. Hey, FHA made a huge thing about condo approvals. If that's part of your niche or you want to get into that niche, call me, reply back to my video. Do videos. It's more engaging. That's a way that I can stay in front of my clients. And then I put in here pop buys and milk routes because a lot of the CRMs are pretty adept at, I'm going to this area and it pulls up all the people in that area. And I can literally hyper-target people if I want to go and see them. So you know your clients are in that area, your CPA's in that area, stuff like that. Oh, the next one's a sample of the newsletter. That's a simple one. I didn't have time. I would have put the HomeBot stuff in here. I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying that that's a system that I've used with a very high open rate for emails. There's more stuff that you can do in there. Let's talk about how you get this all done, because I've shared a lot of tactics with you guys today. There's a whole other class I could teach about time management. The number one thing I have is, first you have to build it how you want it. Otherwise, we just kind of wing it. Like when I got in here, it was just kind of winging it. Like you get up there and you're like, oh, here's my lead, and yeah, I'll call him later, and oh, I should probably do a lunch and learn. If it's not in the calendar, it just doesn't exist in my world. If it's like, it just has to pop up. Like it just pops up. Like, boom, you got to be here. Greg, fly to Houston. Okay, I'm going to Houston. Like it has to be in my calendar. If it's not there, I'd be like, hey, am I supposed to be somewhere? People call me, are you close? I had someone text me once, they're like, hey, what do you want to order? And I was like, I don't know, kind of in the mood for coffee. And he's like, yeah, dude, that's why we're at the coffee shop. I'm like, who is this? He's like, dude, we had an appointment. I'm like, no, you never confirmed the appointment. And I had to fire back the email to him. And I was like, dude, it says right in there, confirm, and I'll be there. And he didn't. Create time. So I skipped greatness tracker, but I'll show you the proof for that. You create time. How many times have you said that to someone where you said, I don't have time for that? Sorry, I don't have time. You make the time. If I said I'll give you $1 million if you call 12 people tomorrow, I guarantee everyone will do it. Hey, commit to a 2-hour time block every Tuesday for the whole year and call your listing agents and book an appointment, and I'll give you $1 million. Okay, we'll do it. Well, I'll tell you that you'll get $1 million if you do it, right? But somehow it just doesn't happen. So you got to get committed to it. But you create the time, put it in the calendar, and then just commit to the time. The greatness tracker is one of the number one tools that we use with the core. It's basically tracking for your accountability. It's where we track our phone calls. You measure your phone calls. If someone wanted to lose weight, I would just say, I was one of the top trainers at one of the top health clubs in Arizona. And the only thing different that I did was I made everyone write down what they ate and then give me the book. So they'd show up to their training session, they'd give me the book, and I'd go, looks pretty good. Because they wouldn't eat the cookie if they had to write it down. They wouldn't eat pasta, cookie, bread. Now, if that were, they would lie, and I'd say, hey, what are you doing? You're just lying. This is lying, right? It's kind of like when people would turn in their trackers and be like, yeah, I'm calling 60 people, and I'm seeing 15, and I'm having lunch with 5. And I'm like, yeah, but your leads aren't up. So you're lying, or you are horrible. No one ever said they were horrible. They always just admit it. Right? I'll show you the replace, never erase is a tactic that I have that you can never just delete an appointment. You just can't erase it. It's got to get replaced. It's got to move somewhere else. The next slide just shows you a sample of what I talk about when I say printed calendar on your desk. It's got to be printed out. I color code them. I know what family is. I have the blue is my core stuff. It's dialed in. We are naturally, salespeople are all over the place and not dialed in. You have to force and train yourself. It's a learned skill. The next one is the greatness tracker, the one I was describing. You literally track down, and I'll send this to you. You literally track down, who did you see today? Loan appointment, a realtor, a business. People that have the ability and capacity to send you business go on this sheet. Who did you talk to today that can send you business? I put little stars that I did ask for the business. You have to. The next slide is just going to repeat the phone number that you can text up there. That way you can get all this information. I'll send some of the forms. You can also text me back if you have any questions. Look, I'm just super honored that I was even asked to be up here. It's such a great group. We are in a ridiculous industry where when you take advantage of stuff to make your business more efficient, like the scripts that Steve talks about, you got to get more efficient with your stuff. Look, leads are going down or up as we go into the winter season. Down. So what do I need to do? What does my conversion and skill level need to go? Up. How do I do that? I practice those scripts. I time block role play with other people in my office, right? With my team. We've got to do that kind of stuff. You got to do things ahead of the technology curve like Mark's doing. I literally invested in that on purpose 2 months ago. Why? Because I know what's happening during the winter. I know where I want to be, and I want to be identified with growth going into 2020. Doing my business plan now. If you follow me on Instagram, it's Greg_Gale_. And I posted today, Happy New Year to my salespeople. because it's 90 days from today is January 1. So I'm glad you're all here today, because today you take all this stuff and you implement it into action tomorrow, and you will have more closings in January. That's how it works. We're in a 60 to 90 day sales cycle. So get into your business plans, take the tactics you learned today and start executing the coming weeks so you can start and have a great 2020. I want to thank you all, and I really appreciate your time, and thank you, Steve.